Hello everyone, my name is Sutton the Wolf, and welcome back to Sakura Spirits. Last time, there was a slime girl. I don't really know if I need to explain everything else that happened. From the sentence that's on the screen that I've already read last episode, you can probably guess what did happen, and what's probably about to happen. Basically, she terrorized the town. Yeah, not much else to say about it. The writing took a relatively turn. I don't really like the other characters as much as I do the two Kitsune girls. But regardless, maybe this game will prove me wrong, and maybe it'll get better. So, once the slime girl had disappeared from the village, I succeeded in tearing off the slime that covered Mio. Because that's a good idea. She's totally not naked underneath, and she's totally not going to get mad at us. However, as the slime shattered into millions of tiny pieces, Mio was left without any form of cover, causing me to quickly cover my eyes. Don't you dare look at me! Scrambling to her feet, the girl rushed away, most likely in search of a change of clothes. With the slime girl gone, the villagers turned towards the fox spirits with confused gazes. Oh yeah, we wanted Maiko and Machiko to help out with the attack. And so we could say they saved the village and that they're gonna get along with the humans. The tension in the air was thick. No one knew what to expect. Finally, a familiar figure emerged from within the crowd. Oh hey, it's the village elder. It's a pleasure to finally meet you again, Takahiro-kun, even if the circumstances could have been better. What are you saying, Elder? That man is clearly in cahoots with the spirits. Wait a second, these girls just wanted to help. Onesima, my head hurts. It's okay, dear, I'm here. Just hold on to me tightly. I'll protect you, and so will Taka-kun. It's a trap! It's a trap! Oh god. Silence! How dare you act with such hostility towards those who just saved your lives? The crowd seemed rather startled by the firmness in the old man's voice, but soon obeyed, some of them feeling rather ashamed all of a sudden. It is clear that you and your companions did not come here with ill intentions, Takahiro-kun. I must ask you to forgive the people for their nervousness and hostility. As you have most likely noticed, contact between the spirits and humans has been rather problematic at best. I understand the concern, but will you at least hear me out? Very well, if that is what you desire. Then it will be the least we can do for those who have helped save this village upon this day. However, let us wait for the chief to return. I believe it will be important for her to hear what you have to say. I'll go find her, Oji-sama. Feeling grateful that the elder had granted me the chance to carry out my plan, we waited for Mio to return. Thankfully, the elder brought us somewhere private, where Machiko could tend to Maiko without the villagers looking on in contempt. Ooh, this is a nice looking room. How many times am I going to have to say it? I am sorry. I froze, okay? I panicked. Your sword is stronger than my Naginata. What was I even going to accomplish? But that is unacceptable. I will reprimand. What are those creatures doing here? Elder-sama, this is highly unorthodox. She's highly unorthodox. Maiko-chan. These are our guests, Tsukino-dono. You shall treat them with the respect they deserve. Now take a seat and listen to their tale. That is in order. I understand, Elder-sama. First and foremost, let me express my gratitude for helping save this village. While Tsukino-dono's brave attempt to stop the spirit allowed us to prevent further damage, I fear that her fate would have been much worse had the spirit been allowed to continue its rampage. Therefore, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for saving Tsukino-dono and this village, Takahiro-kun. And you as well, Fox Spirits. No problem. Su-chan told us to do it. Besides, Sakura's a stupid, smelly Nini Pants. Alright. little overboard on the innocent, childish personality there. Still cute, but come on. We humbly accept your gratitude, Elder-sama. Narumi-chan, Tsukino-dono? Thank you, Maiko-san. Chi-chan, Machiko-san. You really helped us out there. You got more guts than me. That girl had me terrified. Chi-chan. Alright, I think they mentioned something before about Machiko having, like, some kind of interaction with them whenever she was little. And I think Narumi was having issues fighting spirits, so I think maybe Machiko and Narumi know each other. Have you not considered that they might be working together with that monster? And that this is all just a ruse to sneak into the village and steal what little resources we have left? The elder sighed before his gaze sharpened, his tone surprisingly stern in comparison to how he had just been talking. His voice was so harsh that both the girls visibly flinched at the sound of it. Mio, you seem to be underestimating the power of these spirits. If those three had joined forces, there would possibly have been no village left to defend. The man sighed deeply, shaking his head before continuing. You should be grateful. We would not stand a chance if all spirits were to conspire against us. Do I need to remind you that we can barely stand our ground against even one of them? Elder-sama. You must understand, due to my situation, that I simply cannot pretend to be friends with a spirit. Not after everything they have done to us. But for now, I will at least remain silent on the matter. There is more at stake here than my personal feud. Know this, Fox Spirits, if I ever find either of you doing anything suspicious, I will personally find out whether my sword goes through you as effectively as it did that monster. There shall be no talk of such things within this house! Now, Takahiro-kun, you mentioned you wanted to tell us something. Could it be related to your younger companion's comment? I find it curious to hear her mention the name of an old spirit such as Sayuri. Actually, what I'm about to tell is something I learned directly from her. You mean you met her in person? I nodded my head firmly. Holy mood shift, jeez. That's one thing that's kind of weird about this game. Like, the musical transitions are, like, abrupt. Like, wow. It's like, jeez. It goes from 0 to 60 and 60 to 0, like, pretty quickly in terms of, like, the emotional shift there. And it doesn't really have much, like, as much build-up to it. Yeah, I don't really like that as much. It's not like it's terrible, but, like, I just kind of would have liked a little bit more transition, you know? There's a reason behind the spirit's attitude towards humans, and doesn't it strike you as odd that there are only spirits in this particular area? It is true that there have been no spirit sightings outside of this region, but what does that have to do with us? It has something to do with this region, apparently. You see, the spirits here aren't from this world. You mean to say... Taka-kun, what are you saying? We are spirits, but surely we are still of this world. God, I almost lost much. God, keeping up with these voices sometimes can be kind of hard. Ugh. Onesima, what does that mean? Sayuri told me you probably wouldn't remember it because of how young you were when it happened. But spirits have a world of their own. Some accident caused both worlds to merge temporarily. Then why aren't there more spirits around? The whole thing was apparently dealt with before it got out of hand, but a few spirits became trapped here. Machiko-san, Maiko-chan, and 4 other spirits were unfortunate enough to get stuck here. I think Sayuri willingly came here to watch over them. You remember being with Sayuri for a while, don't you? That's none of your business. Su-chan took care of us for a little while, but then she took us to the mansion and sort of just left us there. Now we can only visit her when she wants us to. What about these 4 other spirits? Even though she's a powerful spirit, Sayuri has to follow certain rules. Because of that, she wasn't able to reach the other spirits. I do not know what to say. I need a moment. Might I use another room to compose myself? There, I kind of got the voice back. It took me a second to remember it. Jeez. I'll show you. I can take you somewhere. And look after you. To make sure you don't do anything fiendish and all that. Come on, Machiko-san. This way. Machiko and Narumi left the room. I sighed and turned my focus back on the conversation. Now about the, panty theft. Ah, right. They did seem rather adamant about getting their hands on those for some reason. What was the purpose of that? Surely those girls have undergarments of their own. It was a simple mistake. I needed a maiden silk for my spell. How was I supposed to know that it was something other than the silky things girls wear? It was all a misunderstanding. None of them knew that maiden silk is another term for a wedding sash. Ugh. Innocent, huh? If they really thought that, they could have just used their own. Yeah, that's where you're wrong. Ore-sama and I don't have any. You two... The elder's blushing. Wow. So, you mean to tell me that, when Maiko was basically straddling us in the orchard, she was not, clothed down there? How did we not realize that? I feel like we would have been able to tell. Jeez. I think we should move on to a different matter. Yeah, moving on. Sayuri suggested that we find a way to help you guys out. If we can make you trust us, we figured that maybe you'd make us the sash. But why would you need such an item? Silly man, I already told you I need it for a spell. Maiko-chan, this guy isn't a magician. He doesn't know what you're talking about. Basically, Maiko-chan has been researching a spell that would allow her to travel to another realm. Why would she desire such a power? Imagine being stuck far away from this village. You don't have any way to return to your loved ones. To make matters worse, you're in a place you don't know, with beings unlike you've ever seen before. Now let's say you had a power that would let you go anywhere you want. Where would you go? Are you saying that... Yeah. Yes. Even if they weren't aware of it, they must have subconsciously felt that they were different from you. They only wanted to go home. Home. Kinda. I guess. I just wanted to cast a spell to see what would happen. Su-chan told me that if I ever felt like that, I should ask her first and go with it. So I did. And since she didn't warn me about anything, I figured it was just like any other spell. I think it's normal, Maiko-chan. Whether it's humans or spirits, everyone wants a place they can call their own. A place where they're accepted for who they are. Isn't that right, Elder-sama? But you accept me for who I am, don't you, Takani? I would certainly feel sad if everyone ended up rejecting me simply because of who I am. Surely not all spirits are good at heart, but perhaps we have been too quick in labeling them all evil. For a moment, I saw the Elder's eyes wander sideways towards the room Narumi and Machiko had moved to, and his gaze softened. Unfortunately, some of us have suffered quite a lot at the hands of spirits. It will take time for people to come to terms with those feelings, Takahiro-kun. Meanwhile, in a room off to the side of the main room, the guard lieutenant was watching over the older fox spirit. She seemed to be in the grips of a minor panic attack. Oh, panic attack. Alright, well we're gonna deal with a panic attack on the next episode, guys. This game, so, I like the direction it went here. I like that a lot better than what was last episode. I really like the concept of it's like, okay, you have these spirits who like actually can't leave, and it's like that loneliness aspect and the aspect of like just wanting to return home, and so they're misunderstood for that reason because of the antics that they had done in an attempt to get something that would allow them to return home. Like, I like that aspect of the story. It gives it a lot more feeling. It gives it a lot more, like, care. And so I really like that the story kind of developed to that point. I think that's a very nice turn for how the story goes. I'm still iffy on a lot of the... like, the transitional stuff, a lot of the characters, like... But it's got its points. And I will say the pacing's not terrible. Like, certainly it's not great, but, like, it's not horrible. And while the musical transitions are not very good, in my opinion, I think that the story transitions aren't terrible, is what I meant to say. And so I kind of like this story aspect they have going with the sad backstory and everything, and just wanting to return home. And then eventually I would imagine Takahiro is kind of involved with that, and that he just wants to get home as well. And so I actually kind of like that. So I'm glad to see that the writing got like a little bit back on track. And I hope that it can continue to be that way in the future moving forward, because I do want to complete this game. As far as I know, it's not very long. And so I'm curious to see how it ends out, and to see if they nail the landing. So I'm curious, and I'll keep going with it. But not terrible at all so far. It's got its goods and bads, and certainly not great, but it's acceptable. So regardless, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments section down below. I will always read them, and I will always take them into account. And as always, I will see you guys next time for another episode of Sakura Spirit.